Welcome to The Truth, a production of Pathway of Peace Ministries. I'm here with Pastor Thabet Megaly. I'm your host, Carl Sarfi, and today we're going to be talking about ISIS, or Islamic State. What is really going on in the world today? And this is a vast topic. And this is not going to be only one video. There's going to be a series of interviews with Pastor Thabet here. Pastor Thabet, I just want to welcome you to the program. I'm very excited to hear what you have to say. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Carl. It's good to be with you, and it's really good to open the people's eyes to see and understand the truth, because many deception around us in the world for that we'd like, and our aim, our goal to let the people to see what is the truth about Islamic State or about ISIS.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of concern, and I know we have some specific things we want to cover in the program today, but there are a lot of concerns about what the United States is doing with their involvement or not being involved. There's a lot of fear and apprehension and concern all over the world. I do have one question, and I know we're going to hit some other things, but before we get into those questions, what is an Islamic State? Just, I know there are many viewers out there, there are many people out there that don't even understand what that means. What is an Islamic State?
You know, even the word ISIS, Carl, which is a short of the big sentence. It's called Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. But what is important for us today? The word Islamic State, because Islamic State is not only in Iraq and Syria, but in everywhere. Like we can see in the world, in Middle East, and even in Canada and America, some of this group. Islamic State means that those people who follow Islam and follow Quran and Sunnah, and they see other people who don't follow them, that they are not Muslim. And if we study the history of Islam, we will find that Islam started as a state. For that, Islamic State is not a strange word or new strange word, or it is not a new word that those people use it today. Because Islamic State, this is how Islam started. Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, started a state, not only religion. He used the religion to bring people in and to belong the state. For that, Islamic started as a state that used the religious language to make people obey Muhammad, the founder of that state and religion. We will see in both the Quran and Hadith, and those are two books that Muslims believe that they are holy books. They believe that the Quran is given by Gabriel to Muhammad. God sent Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, to Muhammad and read the Quran on him. And then the Quran, Muslim believe it is the word of God. And the Hadith is Muhammad words in different matters of life. And the Muslim believe that both Quran and Hadith equal in authority. And both of them commanded not only to obey their God, like Quran and Hadith don't command only people to obey their God, but to obey both their God and the Prophet of Islam, to obey God and Muhammad. Muhammad, he is the Prophet and the founder of Islam, as you know. This is exactly what the Islamic State is doing today. They asked people to obey the religion of Islam, obey God of Islam, Prophet of Islam. If you don't obey God of Islam and Prophet of Islam, then you deserve to be died, to be killed, to be slaughtered. And we see many pictures of those. The Islamic State is not radical Islam. People sometimes think that they are radical Islam. Actually, they are true Islam. Islamic State is true Islam, because the Islamic State does what the Quran and Hadith commanded. to kill infidels who don't believe in Islam. All the radical Muslim group and Muslim organization learn from the same books, which Quran and Hadith, and obey their God, no matter what they call themselves. Al-Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood, Islamic State, Hamas, Boko Haram. Those are a few examples of this organization, like the people who protect Sunnah and Sharia, Islamic Sunnah and Sharia in Libya. There's many of them around the world today. There are some of them in North America today, some of them in Europe. And if you follow news, Carl, you will see many English citizens from Great Britain join Islamic State in Iraq today, and they kill people as well. Today I will focus on the Islamic State because of what they are currently doing in Middle East, especially in Iraq and Syria. The Islamic State comes from Al-Qaeda, which comes from the Muslim Brotherhood. The Islamic State intends to kill anybody who disagrees with them, especially Christian, because that is what their God commands them to do.
It's interesting. You made an interesting point that I haven't heard before, and that was that we're not talking about radical Islam here. We're talking about true Islam. We're talking about this is what an Islamic State represents. When they are doing these things, when they're looking at you're either a believer or you're a non-believer, their law, their God has commanded them to kill or attack the non-believers.
Yeah, sure. Like, because this is, let me ask you this question, Carl. If you follow, you are Christian, and I'm Christian. If you follow what the Bible say, do I call you radical Christian or call you Christian, true Christian?
You would call me a Christian.
Yeah, true Christian. For that those people follow the Quran and Hadith. For example, Carl, like, what do you think? What is the Islamic State doing in Iraq, and what is the Islamic State doing in Iraq and Syria today? Right. This is from themselves, like crazy group of people do that, or they are following what the Quran and Hadith say. What do you think?
Well, it's as you have taught in a couple of programs before and do teach, that they're following the Quran. They're not following radical Islam, because what's happening today is part of Islam.
And let us to make our brothers and sisters to see that in the Quran. For example, I believe that you hear the news of what the Islamic State is doing in Iraq, and I believe that also people who will watch that, they know and they follow the news what happened in Iraq and Syria. In Mosul, Iraq, in Mosul, the city in Iraq, they gave Christians 3 choices: to convert to Islam, pay the tribute and keep the religion, or be killed. Here is a question: is that because the Islamic State contains bad people, or is it because those people, Islamic State people, are obeying their God? We can see that very clear, Carl. And if you can read this verse from the Quran, Surah number 9, verse 29.
Yeah, that verse, Surah 9, verse 29 in the Quran says, "Fight those who believe not in Allah nor the last day, nor hold that forbidden which hath been forbidden by Allah and his messenger, nor acknowledge the religion of truth from among the people of the book, until they pay jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued."
Then here we see that very clear in this verse that they give, when they give the Christians 3 options, they don't make something from themselves. They follow the Quran. They follow the entire Quran. Here is what the original Quran and Islamic interpreters say about this verse. It says that the God of Islam calls Muslims to fight a non-Muslim because they don't believe or follow the religion of truth, which they say is Islam. This means Muslim must fight non-Muslim. Non-Muslim means anybody non-Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, people who like New Age, people who don't believe in God, because they are no Muslim. Even sometimes you call some Muslim group that they are no Muslim because you don't follow them or you don't follow the Quran as it should be. Even if they are the people who were said to have the right books. For example, sometimes Muslims say, oh, fight the infidels. But here in this verse said, even with the people of the books, mean Christian and Jewish, and the Quran mentioned that they have the right book, even the Quran mentioned in verse 1094 that Muhammad had to confirm what he has from God when he go and ask those who read the Bible before him, according to Surah 1094. For that we see that it's called the God of Islam called Muslim to fight non-Muslim. If they would like to remain if they would like to remain non-Muslim, for example, say the Muslim come and ask us and we said, no, we'd like to be a Christian, we don't like to be a Muslim. They have to pay jizya, a tribute that the non-Muslim pay to Muslim to let them follow their faith. This is not a one-time payment, but they must pay whenever Muslim asks them to do so. The non-Muslim must feel subdued when they pay the tribute. They are not citizens. They have to follow that they are second class or third class or last class. Fourth, if they don't convert to Islam or pay the jizya, Muslim must kill non-Muslim. And this is what the Islamic State is participating in Iraq and Syria now. This is also what they did when they first took over Egypt. If you like also to see the Muslim guy explain this verse the way that I explain it, or you can visit my website and look at the material about Islamic State and you will see the link for YouTube, or you can say just ask them nicely and it will come back. The person said, ask them nicely to pay the jizya, or if they don't, then you will kill them for that. They explain it. It means that.
So Pastor Thabet, there's a question here then. Why does the Islamic State kill and slay people? Like why are they doing this? Like I know you talked about the Quran, but moderate Muslims, or what they call what we're classifying as moderate Muslims, my understanding, just for those that might not know, that in the eyes of a true Muslim, a moderate Muslim doesn't exist. You're either a Muslim or a non-Muslim. In other words, if you don't believe the Quran the way it's taught and abide by that, you're considered a non-Muslim. So this isn't just verses in the Quran that they just, well, we don't have to do that. Well, a true Muslim of the faith would say that that's exactly what we follow. So they're not radicals, they're true Muslims. So my question is, why are they killing in the Islamic states? Why are they slaying people?
Yeah, let me also make this clear. Like what you said is really right. Muslim or non-Muslim, there is no radical Muslim. And sometimes when the Muslim come to North America or Europe country, they come as weak people. They're looking forward somebody to help them. and they need the help of the country. For that, they make themselves moderate Muslim, or they make themselves nice people, civilized people. They love each other. They love each other. They love the country. They love, and this is, we call it Meccan age, because Muhammad did that when he started in Mecca, 610, and he remained like that for 13 years till 623, and he tried to make peace with everybody. But when he gets stronger, he became violent, and he did a lot of war against people. He changed all the verses that talk about peace, and this is what Muhammad did. And if you'd like to see the temporary example, or the example, modern example today, see, for example, England. When the Muslim people immigrated to England, they love the country, they fled from their country to find the freedom. Now they try to take over England, and they give English people a hard time over there.
Now, just on that note, I just want to interrupt you for one moment. I've even seen reports that the police and some of the army are even afraid to go into some of the Muslim areas. That's how bad it is. They're exercising Sharia law in those areas, and they want to bring it to the whole country.
Yeah, but back to your question, why does Islamic State kill and enslave people? I will ask you to read the Quran verse, Surah number 5, verse 33, and this is what exactly Islamic State is doing now in Iraq and Syria.
Okay. In the Quran, in Surah 5:33, it says this: the punishment of those who wage war against Allah and his messenger, and strive with might and main for mischief through the land, is execution or crucifixion, or the cutting off of hands and feet from opposite sides, or exile from the land. That is their disgrace in this world, and a heavy punishment is theirs in the hereafter.
Then, when they execute people, this is according to the Quran, Surah 5:33. I don't know if you see that picture that they crucify some people or not. Did you see this picture? To crucify?
I have not seen that picture. No.
Yeah, there is many pictures. They are crucified. They crucify many Christians. They are not crucifying them because they're Christians that believe in cross, but because the Quran tells them to crucify the people here in this verse, and very clear, cutting off of hands and feet and even head from opposite sides, or exile from the land. What is Islamic State is doing more than that? What do you think?
Well, that's happening in Iraq.
This is what the act exactly is doing. For that, when Islamic State people do that, they are following the Quran, Surah number 5, verse 33. If the Muslim tells us, oh, this is for history, which is not, this is to follow it, and this is still in the Quran, then why you still have it in the Quran right now if the people use it? Why don't the other Muslims say, oh, we don't believe in this verse? It's in the Quran. You memorize the Quran and you remember this verse, you read it, you get a reward when you read that, and you get more reward when you do it. For that, it's in your religion, it's in the Quran. For that, I'm asking Muslim people to think about that. The Islamic State is not radical, but they do exactly what the Quran in verse 5, in Surah number 5, verse 33 says.
I think there's something that can be said. I think really Northwestern civilization has labeled it as radical, and so we've called them radical Muslim and non-radical Muslim, or moderate and radical. We like to label things, but in reality, the deception is simply this: a radical Muslim, as defined by North America, is actually a true Muslim, according to Quran.
Yeah, that's right. And let us look at the meaning of this verse that we just mentioned, 5:33. Those who wage war against Allah, God, and his messenger must be punished. This also refers to those who don't believe in Islam. I like to remind you of what happened when an artist from Denmark draws the cartoons about Islam. the Muslim organization were trying to kill him, and they were killing any tourist from Denmark and bombing buses full of tourists from Europe or North American people. Another person made a film about the Prophet of Islam that enraged Muslims to the point where Muslims in Libya killed the American ambassador and attacked Western and North American embassies. When you compare between this verse and the Quran and what the Islamic State is doing in Iraq and Syria, you will find that they are only obeying their God by executing and crucifying people who don't believe in what they believe. This is the picture.
Wow. Well, so here's a very important question here. Is the Islamic State a danger for only the Middle East only? Before you answer that, I want to make a comment, and then you can answer the question. So my question is the Islamic State only dangerous for the Middle East? The thing that concerns me is that many North Americans or even in the UK, I think they're seeing a greater picture of what's really going on right now. But many North Americans think, or they're in an illusion that this isn't going to happen here. It can't happen here. We have laws in place. It could, that's over there. That we don't have to be concerned. Is there concern?
Yeah, Carl, believe me, I have, because I live among Muslims and I know how they think. I study Islamic philosophy. I studied Islam. I studied Quran and Hadith. All my life, I have been in this ministry among Muslim people. And I know, and I live now here, and I know that there is a danger for Middle East and North America. Like, for example, see what happened in America. And the president of America tried to hide what the Muslim people is doing in America itself. And this is because there is many Muslim in effective position in United States.
I heard that President Obama, 7 of his closest advisors are from the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yes, and also his half brother is Muslim Brotherhood, and he is, I believe, he's following the Islamic faith, or he does as Muslims do, like many deception, try to promote Islam, try to put down any other religion, and we see that very, very clear in last days. But let me come back to your question. The Islamic State wants us to control the world. This is their policy. There is this agenda. This is the ideology. They believe that all the land for God, it means for God of Islam. For that, and I heard an interview with a person, Muslim person, he lives in Sweden, and the person asked him, "Why do you live in the land of infidels?" Because there are infidels people, infidels government give you money and everything like that. And the answer from Muslim person said, "Oh, they don't give me money from the government. This is our money. It's God, all the money, it's God's money for that. And God's here means the gods of Islam. And all the land for God, for that they don't give me from what they have, but they give me my right." And they think that all the land for Islam. And as I said, Islamic State, the Islamic State or the Muslim people try to control the world and kill everyone who is not a Muslim, wherever they find him or her. And this is very, very clear, Carl, in the Quran, Surah 33, verse 26 and 27. And I ask you to read this verse, and then I come back to see if there's danger here in North America or not.
Okay, it says in the Quran in Surah 33, verse 26 and 27, and those of the people of the book, Jews and Christians, who aided them, the unbelievers, Allah, God, did take them down from their strongholds and cast terror into their hearts, so that some ye slew and some ye made prisoners, and he made you heirs of their lands, their houses, and their goods.
See, it's here. We see here in this verse that the Muslim God command Muslim to kill non-Muslim. Radical Muslim are only doing what is required of every Muslim to do by their God and their Prophet Muhammad. And before I go to another verse, Carl, I can see Islamic State is not only people that you see now with like having gun, but it start as an idea. There's many people in North America follow Islamic State philosophy, follow Islamic State religion, follow Islam, because this ideas doesn't come from a man, but it comes from a book that the Muslim believe that is from God. For that, if they live beside you, if they are your neighbor, whenever they live, they believe in those verses. They believe in the Quran. Ask any Muslim, Carl, do you believe in Surah number 33, 26, 27? You will say no, yes. Do you believe in Surah number 865, which I will ask you to read it as well now? And this is a commandment to the Prophet, from God of Islam to the Prophet, to fight those who don't believe in Islam.
Surah 865 says, O Prophet, rouse the believers to the fight. If there are 20 amongst you patent and persevering, they will vanquish 200. If 100, they will vanquish 1,000 of the unbelievers, for these are a people without understanding.
Yeah, see here, Carl, it's here commandment from God to his prophet to command and encourage people to fight and kill. For that, it is danger. Yes, it is danger, because they don't follow, they don't think this is a human thinking or idea or crazy idea and bad idea. We don't have to follow it. But they believe this verses is a Quranic verses from Quran. If you notice, I didn't bring anything from Hadith yet. But they believe strongly, if the Shia or Sunni, they believe on those verses, and they have to practice these verses today. And that's why they even kill each other. Muslim people, Carl, even after they get rid of their enemy, which you and me, and all the people don't believe in Islam, they also will fight together, will fight each other. And the strange thing, Carl, when you know that the person who collected the Quran and put it in one book, his name is Uthman ibn Affan. By the way, he burned it all the other copies and he made his own copy. This person, Muslim people killed him because they believed that he was infidel. Even they didn't bury him in the tombs of Muslim tombs, but they buried him in infidels' tomb. Think about that. If they do that with the person who collected the Quran, what they will do with me and you? Again, it is danger. This thing, these ideas, this group of people who believe in that book, they are dangerous because they believe in it and like praise God with it. Their God, I mean, they praise their God with it. They recite it. They get blessing or read it or do it. For that, they are around us. They are in Egypt, they are in Iraq, they are in Syria, they are all over Middle East, Europe country, North America. What we should do, Carl, we have to wake up and address the point. We don't have to hide and put our head in the sand.
Right.
We have to open our eyes and deal with these people. Yes, love them, but teach them the truth. Teach them right. You don't have to give them opportunity to kill each other. Like the people who made a knife, they don't made a knife to kill people. They made a knife to use it in the kitchen. But sometimes you can take this knife and kill people. For that, we can make the knife to help us in kitchen. We can reach out those Muslim people and tell them the truth. Because if we say, oh, you are right, oh, you have a good religion, you have a wonderful prophet, you have this and you have that, then they will not change. We have to address that these verses is actually not God's words, because God doesn't encourage people to kill each other, because he is the God of life, not God of death.
Well, you know, Pastor Megaly, I've got a number of questions. I think we have to save it for the next program, but I want to leave the listeners and the viewers with this thought before we, you know, share a little bit more about the God of life, not the God of death. And the question is, and it just kept coming in me, maybe we can expand on it a little bit more in the next program, but in North America right now, you said that there are these that believe in the Quran the way it is written. It seems to me, based on the historical evidence of what happened in Mecca and then Medina with the Prophet Muhammad, that we're seeing a preparation taking place behind the scenes until the Muslims, and I'm not saying this to instill fear, I'm just saying that we need to be aware to pull our head out of the sand. So the first step is what's really going on around us. We need to be aware that there is something going on behind the scenes preparing for something that we don't believe is going to happen. Many people don't believe. It's just over there. They don't really realize this is happening in our own country, that there are people that are set on the destruction of Western civilization, and they are actively working to change the education system, the political system. It's really a system to bring in the law of the Quran, the law of the Sharia law.
Yeah.
And it's not just something that we're just imagining. This is really happening right now. Yeah? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and they tried and tried, and even they tried here in Canada to pass a Sharia law. And Sharia law means to follow the Quran and Sunnah. The people who doesn't know Islam, they think that Sharia law, that they have their own law, their own life. No, Sharia law will control everybody, because according to Sharia law, me and you deserve to be killed, because we don't believe that Muhammad is a prophet from God. I don't believe it because I'm Christian. If you don't believe that, then you deserve to be died because you broke the Sharia law, because this is essential thing and matter in Sharia law. Before we leave that, I like to encourage all Canadian people to wake up. If you are Christian, you have to wake up. And for especially Christian, you have to wake up. I know that God in control. I know that God protect us. But think about that. If we don't be with God and reach out those people and say the truth, God will not be with us. God was with his people in the Old Testament until the person he disobeyed God. I know was in when they fight with Ai, and his name is it's in Arabic called Akhan ibn Karmi, Akhan, I think, if you know the story. And he has stolen and he disobeyed God, and then they defeated in next fight. For that, God can be, and God told his prophet Joshua, why you are falling down on your face? Why you are blaming me? Blame yourself. There is a thief among you. There's something wrong among you. There's a forbidden thing wrong among you. This is what I encourage Christians to take out the forbidden thing that God forbid among our life, and to be bold enough to say the truth. It's not enough to go to the church and worship God Sunday morning. God sent us to be light for this world. If we put the light, the candle, and we hide it, nobody will see the light. Christian people, my brothers and sisters, we need to show the people the light of Christ. We need to say the truth. We need to be involved in the society, in every area, because God sent us to do that. Otherwise, God will protect his church, but his true church who follow him and say the truth and witness to the people. This is my message to my brothers and sisters, Christian. Even for the people who don't believe in God or believe in other religion. If we just start to say Islamic is okay, it's just another religion, then you will lose your freedom. You can't live your life anymore. Because if you don't believe in Islam according to their book, which will be their law, then you will deserve to die. I pray that every one of us do his part. Pray for those in Iraq who get killed. Pray for the people, the family of the people who get killed, or the people who exile from their city or houses. And also I pray for Islamic State people, ISIS. God can open their eyes to see that they worship Satan. Because the Bible says that Satan come to slay and kill and steal and destroy. God can open their eyes to see that. And God will open their eyes when you and me cry out and say, this is not from God, this is from Satan. Thank you, Carol, and I think we had many to say, but I think it's enough for this time.
Well, thank you, Pastor Megaly. It's always great to hear what's going on, and I know you have a heart for God and a love for God, and I appreciate you sharing your time and sharing your wisdom and your insights, because we really need to know. This is the sign of the times. I'm glad you said that last piece. Whether you believe in God or don't believe in God, it doesn't matter. It does matter in the eternal light of things, but the repercussions of what's coming doesn't matter if you believe or don't believe. But if you don't believe in their God, which is really not God, it's Satan, it's the father of lies, then you're going to feel the effects. You will lose your freedom, as Pastor Megaly just said. You will lose your dreams. You know, what the creator of the universe has put in your heart, you will lose that. So it's not just ignore it. You can't ignore this thing. This thing is massive. It's big. And I look forward to the next program and the ones coming after that too, to take this deeper and to take this further. For more information, go to the website, pathwayofpeace.ca, pathwayofpeace.ca, and you can actually email, you can send questions, you can make comments, and this video will actually be posted on there. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thanks again, Pastor Thabet, and we'll talk again in the next program.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.